Hello, let's get this cringy opener underway, shall we? Yeah. How are we all doing this evening? Another week. It's been a fun week at work. Crazy things going on. I never prepare myself properly for opening these things. It's one of those things. I just get those nerves. I'm at that point where I'm just I'm literally just clicking to switch over, and my brain's going no. Just a little anxiety. So yeah, I've literally just got to go and do it and throw myself in, playing with the cable here. Yeah, how are we this week? How have we all been? It's been a fun week at work. My company is having a lot of fun with it. I'm not going to say all the details in case there's anyone out there who might know which company it is and what things are going on, because I don't want to give away anything that could be problematic for the company if I reveal stuff, but I could be saying too much as it is. But anyway, yes, other than that, yes, we're all doing fine here. It's been a long week, and I'm going to be tired for most of this stream, I suspect, so I may even make it a slightly short one. Depends where we get in the game. But anyway, for those of you who are new to my channel, if you're just finding me randomly, I'm late to the bed party. Mostly I play older games, that's where the late to the party comes from in the name. Been playing a lot of retro emulated games recently. Had certain challenges with some of them, especially getting some of them running. All my streams are, the VODs for them are on my YouTube. That's linked below, along with playlists that have been recently updated to include all the most recent stuff that I've been doing. I do a separate old playlist for each game that I play, so that's a list that's slowly growing as I do more. I've got a link to my Discord if anyone would like to join over there. Numbers are still growing very, very slowly, but slowly is still growth. Where was I going with that? Shows I'm tired. Long week. But yeah, we're going to have some fun with the game this evening. The last link to mention is my book that I published a couple of years ago on Amazon and Kindle. Feel free to have a look at that as well if you're interested. The game I've been playing recently is a little known game. Let's just switch over to the completely black view of the game. Losing where the camera is. Yeah, I've been playing Policenauts recently, which let's just and I'm going to select the emulator. There we go. Might need to turn it down a bit for myself. I hear myself speak. But yeah, this game is Policenauts. It's done by Konami, released in 1996, so quite an old one for most people. But this game only had a Japanese release. It never had an English release. But this version, or this one I've got here, has had an English patch applied that was a fan translation. And it's done the entire game in English. They even translated the credits where they mentioned all the staff who worked on the game, which is great attention to detail. And yeah, this is a game that I've been wanting to play for a very, very long time. And this is now the third stream into playing the game. So let's open up. I'm liking opening the game up properly rather than using save states, and partly because some emulators save states don't always work properly. But this game actually gives you a brief description or summary of what's happened in the game and where you are. That does kind of mean that this game's very linear, but then again, these kind of games always were. But this game was a spiritual follow-on to Snatcher, which is one of Hideo Kojima's most famous games from the 90s. In some ways, it's more legendary than Metal Gear Solid, mainly because everyone's played Metal Gear Solid. Snatcher is a game people have only heard about. Oh, it's skipping into an attract mode, isn't it? So let's just get it to go back. There we go. Yeah, the idea being that Jonathan Ingram was a member of the Policenauts in the, I think it was 2010s, I believe, and just tell it to load. There was an accident and he was thrown out into space, but he survived because of a capsule that he had tethered to him. And this capsule allowed him to go into cryostasis, and he was in the cryostasis for 25 years. Everyone thought he was dead until they found him. And when they found him, they rehabilitated him. He was able to go back to his life, but he hadn't aged in 25 years, and everyone else had done. He'd gone back to Earth to basically work as a private investigator, and then his ex-wife came and found him. Her new husband had gone missing, and she wanted him to investigate because nobody wanted to go near it. And then she was promptly killed with a car bomb. So Jonathan has made his way up to the space station called Beyond, where his ex-wife Lorraine lived. Husband was Hojo, I think, both of them being half Japanese. And yeah, he's met up with his old friend Ed, who's working at the Beyond Police Department. Basically, he works in the Vice Department, who, as far as the world setting is concerned, they are the people who are given the jobs that nobody else wants, and they're not even expected to do it. So it's quite a cushy job in some ways. You literally turn up, you've got a whole load of cases that you're expected to investigate into, but you don't need to. But yeah, we're now investigating into Hojo's disappearance, and things are getting very interesting. There's quite a few things I've spotted that I mentioned last week, especially last week, that raises a few interesting things. There are 2 items that Lorraine gave Jonathan as well. There was half of a leaf and a collection of capsules. And the science guy at the police department looked into those. The plant was, I can't remember what plant it was, but it was a vital component in the production of a drug called NARC, which is a massive problem on Beyond. And the interesting thing that they discovered was, although it's believed that NARC is being imported from Earth, that particular leaf had no toxins or anything from Earth. The only way it could have been grown was on Beyond, suggesting that NARC is actually being produced on the space station. Now, the capsules just turned out to be some random medication from the company that Hojo worked at. But the interesting detail was the logo that's on the capsules for the company, they were all missing a different part of the logo. Now, whether that means that there's a pattern or something in there, it could be that something like a negative space image or negative space puzzle that we need to figure out later on. There might be more capsules with other bits missing that highlight something. Yes, so the last thing that we did last week was we went to Hojo's house. Now, the father is missing, the wife is dead, and we run into their daughter, who is also a news reporter, and she's quite famous on the space station. The interesting thing being that she's a spitting image of Lorraine, and yeah, Jonathan is literally looking at this daughter of his ex-wife, and she literally is a spitting image. There's a couple of comments that he made where he's struggling to not see her as his ex-wife, which is a bit problematic. My wife thinks that they're going to get together at some point. The theory I've got is she's got a strange condition. I say strange, I don't know if it's a real one, but she needs a bone marrow transplant if they can find a good donor. And I've got a funny feeling Jonathan's going to be a perfect match at some point. That's theory crafting. But anyway, let's get into the game so we can see where we can get. So the official summary here is: asked by his ex-wife Lorraine to look into Kenzo Hojo, Jonathan secures Ed's help in the investigation. They visit Hojo's house after obtaining his address at Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals. Yeah, we went to the place where Hojo worked, and we managed to get in even though we weren't supposed to, and we discovered some... Oh, I just dropped my controller. Oh, this is a great start to this week's stream, isn't it? You're not a streamer if you're not making a fool of yourself, I think. What did we find there? I'm struggling to remember what we found. Yeah, the key thing we found was his address. That led us to going to the house. So, living there is Karen, who is a mirror image of Lorraine. Now they must question Karen about her father. Yes. Now, last week, I think I did everything I possibly could as far as questioning was concerned. One detail I did note that I know for a fact is important. There's a DVD collection or music collection here, because these are all CDs, and CDs are like rarities in this world. So we can put on something. It's this one here that is the interesting one. Because if we look at it, there's no title on it at all. It's just a blank cover. And if we play it, it's just code. Nothing but noise. It's not damaged. Yeah, I don't know how long it goes on for. I'd imagine if I played long pieces of these music, and I've got a feeling most of the music on these discs are soundtrack, or the soundtrack for the game, and random other tracks from other things. A lot of them are music that is credited to the composers of the game. So that is going to have some importance. I'm annoyed that we can't take it to use later on, but I have absolute faith that there's something important with that. But it's probably a data disk that needs to go into a computer. But CDs aren't really used anymore. This is set in 2040, I believe. So CD usage is long gone. So yeah, that was the primary thing we found in the house. I'm not even sure what else we found as far as further evidence is concerned. Okay, can we ask some questions? Right. Show. Right. Don't think we need to show any of that, so ask about. Let's just go through everything again. I honestly really didn't understand them myself, so asking about her parents. There's nothing there. Her just behaviour. He would kind of watch out for me when he moved about the house. It seemed like he was avoiding me. Avoiding her. Her father was avoiding her. That has implications. Maybe he discovered... Well, he certainly discovered something at the company, because I do remember now that she mentioned that he had commented about discovering something at work that he couldn't talk about, and he wanted to go elsewhere. So that's the same. His hobbies. So work was his real hobby. He's your typical Tokugawa employee. Mum probably wasn't satisfied with that kind of husband. Oh, the implications of that. So there's two things leading towards her possibly having an affair. One idea that just popped into my head is maybe she'd had either an affair and Karen wasn't actually Hojo's daughter, or even worse, maybe she had a sample of Jonathan's DNA and was able to impregnate herself with that somehow. Not necessarily a particular kind of DNA sample. I mean, in the future, you could probably get a sample that you could potentially use from maybe a piece of hair, because hair has DNA in it. So if you get extract the DNA from that and was able to implant it into an egg to fertilize it, in theory, that could work. In practice, I mean, we're talking about 2040s and a game that was written in the mid-90s, so... But that's probably stretching ideas a bit. Okay, you saw Dad's collection. Plenty there to keep him busy. Let's ask about that again. What was his real hobby? Yeah, that was the last thing I got from her there. Oh. I think it said something about him being like an audiophile. Loving audio. I'm not surprised given the equipment here. So work was his real hobby. Okay. Saito, even if I did hear the name, I never met him. Her job. They're using a CG double of her at the moment. I don't think anyone will ever be able to tell the difference, which I said last week raises the question of why they even hire her. I don't think anyone will recognise it's CG they're watching. Again... illness. A plastic anemia, aplastic anemia. Yeah, blood condition. Basically, it's a disease where you become unable to produce new blood. They're suppressing it with drugs until we find a donor. Transplant costs. Looks like Dad got me moved up, so I'm grateful for everything he's done. Okay, his disappearance. I hadn't talked much with Dad lately. Yeah, and Plato. Maybe it's some sort of code name? Right. So we've investigated the Earl sound system. We've investigated the study. We've done quite a lot here. Shall we be off now? Right, okay, so I think I found everything there.
Karen-san, どうも役に立ちましたよ。カレン、すまなかった。
私、真実を知りたい。だから約束してくださる？どんなことが分かっても父に関すること、私に隠さないで教えてください。母に代わって依頼料は払います。
分かった。約束しよ
う。
しかし金はいらない。この件はロレイン本人から頼まれたものだ。依頼人はロレインと俺本人だ。カレン、この写真。
この写真。
ロレインとの写真だ。処分は君に任せる。
どうして？
ロレインはここにいる。このビヨンドに生きている。俺のところじゃない。処分は任せる。
わかったわ。ジョナサンって呼んでもいいかしら？
ああ。
ジョナサン、私、さっきは言い過ぎたわ。ごめんなさい。
Yeah, she was a bit rude when they arrived.
ロレインがあんなことになったんだ。あなたも安全とはいえ。何かあればすぐ BCP まで連絡してください。部下を送ります。
ありがとう。
じゃあ、カレン。
ジョナサン。
One more thing.
あなたずっとタバコ加えてたわね。
こいつは病気なんだ。気に障ったのかな。
いえ、母からはそんな話聞いたことないから。
大丈夫。このビヨンドにいればやめるさ、きっと。
そうね。じゃあ。
失礼するよ。
That's interesting. She never mentioned that he was a smoker.
ジョナさん、気を落とすな。時間がかかるが、きっと彼女も分かってくれる。
Come around to what? Right. Okay. Oh, yes, now I remember. Beyond something Central Hospital. Or Beyond Central something Hospital. I believe it's the only real hospital in the city as well. Yeah, because now I'm remembering. Yeah, it's been a week since I played this, so... Right, so... Hojo, on the day he disappeared, had... he'd been seen at his workplace. And apparently he had taken 100 samples of the experimental drug delivery system, DDS as they call them, codenamed K-9. And he'd taken those to BCCH, the hospital. But they don't know if he ever got there, because nothing was seen of him afterwards. So we're going to go to hospital, find out whether he was there. One of the things I also noticed was there were, I think the K7 distribution system was a tiny insect, like a mosquito. It could only deliver tiny amounts of whatever it was carrying. An interesting detail was the drug NARC only needs a tiny amount to have an effect. Now, that's not a coincidence that the writers wrote it that way. But what I also noticed was Karen mentioned when I investigated the windows, that she says that they don't really close the windows much at all because the weather's like controlled. It's always nice weather, and there's hardly any insects. So there's a possibility that some of the people who are becoming narc addicts are being forcibly given a dosage by these insects. That's my theory. Am I overthinking things? I think I might be. Right, let's head over to the hospital.
BCCH へ行って北条の担当していた薬局員に話を聞こう。俺は病院と注射は苦手なんだが。俺だってそうだ。患者じゃないんだ。気を楽に行こうぜ。しかし、あの DDS の話からすると、この先注射はなくなるかもしれんぞ。そうなると困るな。どうして？病院を嫌う口実がなくなる。看護婦に甘える口実が減る。たくましいやつだ。
Kojima. Oh. Kojima's a troublemaker. Beyond Coast Central Hospital.
BCCH だ。でかい病院だな。さあ、北条の手がかりを探そう。
Right. Interesting with the pixelation on there. That name looks like BOCH rather than BCCH. That's just the pixelation. It's the hospital sign. Yep. Beyond Coast Central Hospital. Because actually, I think the city's full name is actually Beyond Coast, not just Beyond, but they just call it Beyond for an abbreviation. Just turn this down a little bit. Yeah, actually, this piece of music is reminding me of Panzer Dragoon, because some of the music in Panzer Dragoon Saga sounded a bit like this. Well, they're on the same system, and I'm going to stream Panzer Dragoon Saga at some point. I love that game. Yeah, so... Right, okay, just as I said, I believed you. Okay, right, so reception is there, isn't it? I don't see anything worth investigating. What's this up here? Now that's the linear elevator that goes to the 0G ward. Oh, right, because as this place is a cylinder with the city on the inside and it's rotating to produce the gravity, that it would make sense that if you want 0G, you literally just go up into the centre. So yeah, 0G ward. We're probably going to end up there at some point. What's that? It's a zero-gravity ward set up in the centre of the colony. Weightlessness is a good environment for treating patients who are bedridden or have burns over large areas of their body. Yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that. And they also perform certain operations there since blood doesn't squirt out in 0G. That doesn't make sense. I would have thought blood in 0G would be worse than with gravity, because at least with gravity it all goes downwards towards the ground, but in 0G it would go everywhere. Okay, right, well let's head to the entrance. That's the main entrance. Right, move, let's go inside.
BCCH のロビーだぞ。これだけのマンモス病院だ。北条の知人を探すのも一苦労だろうな。しかし今はそれしか道はない。気を持ち直して北条の手がかりを探そう。
Now, one of the things I've been thinking is a lot of the artwork for this is digitized from cell-shaded, like literal anime cells. I would love to see a remake of this game where they literally rescan everything at a high resolution. That would be quite something. But at least not such a high resolution like it's like full 4K or something. Something to keep a certain degree of pixelation for a bit of retro styling. So I think that would be quite a fun thing to do. It'll never happen. Konami's got no interest in doing anything with their old good licenses. They just want to keep ruining all the new ones by turning them into things that can just endlessly make them money. And Snatcher and Policenauts will never do that. They might earn them a fair few million in profit if they did do remakes or at least re-releases, but nowhere near enough for them to justify it. They just look at it and go, yeah, well, that got us a few pennies. It's a shame, because I mean, both Snatcher and Policenauts, Snatcher I can say definitely is a very good game. I love that game. Very proud of the fact that I managed to get hold of a copy so cheap back in the day. And Policenauts, this is turning out to be a good game. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and still very much at the beginning. So we're here at the hospital now. So who should we talk to? I'm actually drawn to this guy for some reason. Don't know why. They must be waiting for something. He looks like he's got some kind of mental illness. Man, why you got to talk about people like that? Okay. Can't talk to him. Who is this? Looks like another patient. Hey, she's pretty nice from this angle. These people won't know Hojo. Nope. Seems to be another patient. None of these people look too good. He's talking to the receptionist. We should try inquiring at reception ourselves. Yes, that's a subtle hint, isn't it? Why do I get the feeling this is another one of those moments where you can have Jonathan literally touch up the women? And I'm still amazed by that bit with the flight attendant at the beginning and the fact they fully animated it. Right, hospital information counter. Why don't we try asking about Hojo? Good idea. Right, approach. Maybe speak with you a moment.
今日はどうされましたか？
いや、実は
初診の方ですね。こちらのアンケート用紙に症状を詳しくご記入ください。
Very practiced.
俺たちはどこも悪くはない。俺たちはビヨンド警察のものなんだが、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだ。
警察の方？何でしょう？
Yeah, look at those skirts. Okay. She's cute. Wouldn't mind getting shot. Oh god. Hang on, that's Ed as well. I mean, bloody hell. These characters are more pervy than Gillian was in Snatcher. Smart idea putting girls like these out in front. It's what companies always do. Receptionists are always hired based on being pretty. Okay, let's talk to her.
実は人を探してるんだが、北条健三という人物だ。徳川製薬のプロパーで、この病院にもよく出入りしているらしいんだが。
徳川製薬のプロパーの方ですか？
知らないか？
プロパーの方は関係者用の通用口から出入りしますのでわかりません。
誰ならわかる？
そういう件でしたら当病院の理事長に相談され
The
ては。
director?
理事長ね。
どちらにせよ理事長の許可が必要ですから。
Okay. No point showing her anything. Okay. Ask about her. Oh, what the hell? So, is there a name I can put to this beautiful face? Oh, real smooth, Jonathan. Now that's a good response. You know what? Why the hell not? Destiny's obviously brought us together for some reason. We're yet to understand. We've yet to understand. I'm just trying to get to know you, that's all. Those lines will get you nowhere, buddy. Yeah, because he's been asleep for 25 years. He doesn't know all the modern pickup lines. Okay, let's ask about the hospital. Be serious. It's the largest hospital on Beyond. We've also been designated as one of the colony's emergency response facilities in the event of an accident or disaster. Well, yeah, I think all hospitals would be designated points of emergency, but this one in particular because it's the biggest. In addition, our organ transplantation technology is the most advanced in the world. Well, considering we're in space orbiting the planet, saying the most advanced in the world? We're well known even on Earth. That kind of leads into the point I just made. Many people come from all over Earth just to receive treatment here. It's easier to obtain organs here on Beyond than it is on home, you see. Why is that? Genetic reproduction? Artificially grown ones? We've established a centralised organ distribution network and transplant coordination system here. There still isn't a consensus between countries on Earth on how to handle the organ issue. You have to go through a lot of red tape to get anywhere there. Yeah, okay. Let's ask about the director. So, where do we go to see the director? The director can be found in the director's office. Stating the obvious. Why do I feel like an idiot? Okay. The director's office. Where's the director's office? At the end of Block B here on the first floor. I'll let her know you're coming, okay? If you follow the green line, that'll take you straight there. Okay. Ask about the director. What's the director like? She's young and extremely charming. Why are they always? Of course, she used to be a model, so that's to be expected. Kojima, what? A model turned hospital director? You want me to keep trying hitting on the receptionist, do you? Let me know if you want me to continue hitting on the receptionist. Hey, she, the director's woman. Well, considering that the receptionist already mentioned that. Okay. If you were hospitalised here, I suppose you might get to know me a little then. Oh, I love this girl. That's a no. I would be treated by nurses as breathtaking as you. Of course, you'd get the very best care. Why am I thinking the word care should be in air quotes? But then wouldn't be indulging in any fantasies of yours, I'm afraid. She'd make you get all the male nurses. That hits slightly differently now than it did back in '96. Okay, let's see if there's any interaction. Damn, don't have a clear view. Oh, Kojima. I'm gonna do it. This calls for action. Here we go. Okay, it is going that way. Well, look at what you've been hiding. Are you feeling alright? You're shaking. Look at you standing on your tiptoes, goddamn embarrassment. It's given the option, so it's fully animated, I believe. Bouncy, bouncy. Oh dear, what is wrong with you? Yeah, what is wrong with Kojima? Hang on, gotta double check something. Yeah, that little noise that she makes along with it. And this is Hideo Kojima we're talking about here. Oh god, that is so inappropriate. My legs are shaking like, yeah, better shut up. Okay, right. Let's oh, that's in two places. You get it there. That's the option for selecting things to look at, and that's the other option for other things like move, system, and stand on tiptoes. So moving system normally. So the fact it's in two places. What the hell? Let's have a look at the other ones here. She's pretty cute too. So, excuse me? She's busy at the moment. I can help you instead. Right, okay. You know what? Let's just see how far Kojima took things. Look at that. Okay, the people who did the English translation for this must have had a whale of a time. Yeah, I'd hit that. Ed. I said that out loud, didn't I? Oh dear. You haven't changed either. Don't fight it, Ed. Go with it. I'm sure she'd love to turn around and see you with that look on your face. Okay, we're moving. Right. Let's go to the director's office and see just how inappropriate it can get with an ex-model.
たちが刑事さんね。受付から連絡もらったわ。
あなたがこの病院の理事長？
そうよ。女だとは思わなかった？
いや、受付で聞いてはいたんだが、少しホームなまりがあるな。
私は BCCH 理事長のクリス・ゴドウィンです。
私は BCP 風紀課のエド・ブラウン。俺はジョナサン・イングラム。OLA で。
ああ、そうだ。やっぱりそうだわ。どこかで見た顔だと思った。あなたたちポリスノーツのエドとジョナサン？
どうして？
私よ。覚えてないかしら？一度少女雑誌のカバーを一緒に撮影したでしょ？もう30年も前だけど。
おう、あのモデルのクリスちゃん？そうか、女らしくな。
Was she a child model?
あのクリスか？モデルか。受付でも言ってたな。
もうすっかりおばちゃんよ。そうね、あなたたちなの。会えて嬉しいわ。で、どんな要件？
Well, considering that introduction, I get the impression she's going to be quite helpful. So, shall we say, get the information? Okay, Kojima, that's As I was saying, shall we get information from her before we start being inappropriate? Okay, let's Yes, I think quite a few people did. And Basic Instinct was before 96, wasn't it? That was early 90s. Or was it late 80s? I can't remember. I've never actually seen it. I mean, everyone's seen that clip. And I think a few people got into trouble with that because I heard Sharon Stone was not happy with it when she found out what they'd filmed. But yeah, let's... Simply can't get over how beautiful you are, Chris. You've aged like a fine wine. You're a sweet guy, and probably even if she was a child, let's say as a child model, say 10 years old, yeah, when the whole thing happened, she'd now be in her late 30s by this point. But I've got a feeling she would have been older. So she would say 20. Then she'd now be in her 50s, pushing 60, maybe. No, it's only been 30 years. So, yeah, be about 50. Let's talk to her first.
実は行方不明になったある人物の足取りを追っている。北条健三という。
北条？聞かないわね。ここの患者なの？
その男、徳川製薬のプロパーなんだ。徳川製薬でこの病院に薬を卸してるって聞いたんだ。ここの薬関係の担当者を紹介してもらえないか？
ああ、それなら薬局の薬剤師に聞けばわかるはずよ。ここの薬の管理はすべて彼に任してるから。それで
let's show the picture of Hojo. Let's see if she recognizes him there. This is a picture of Hojo. I may have met him before, I'm not sure though. Is that suspicious? Okay, don't need to show anything else at the moment. Let's talk about Hojo. So you don't know anything at all about Hojo. The littlest thing could help. No, it's the first I've heard of him, sorry. Okay. I'm somewhat suspicious, but then again, in this game I'm going to be suspicious of anything. So ask about the pharmacy. So you have your own pharmacy here, that kind of makes sense considering it's a hospital. Beyond has the same medical system you find in Japan, where a doctor can also serve as a pharmacist. When people get their prescription in a hospital, they receive their medication from its pharmacy. We have our own pharmacy since there's no separation between prescribing and dispensing in our medical industry. Oh, there's no segregation between prescribing and dispensing. That is open for abuse. I think definitely in the UK there is a separation, because if you can prescribe something to somebody and then dispense it yourself, then you could prescribe yourself something and then dispense it to yourself, which would mean a doctor who was an addict could easily prescribe themselves the medication that they're addicted to. You know, I would have thought that even the Japanese system would close a loophole like that. So I wonder if that is actually going to come in later. The profit margin for drugs here is astronomical. Right, so the markup is huge. Okay, doctors rake in an extra 20 to 30% by dispensing themselves. Yeah, hospitals and drug companies make a killing in this system because the price of drugs for patients is so high. Sounds almost like America. One of the reasons Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals is so successful is because it lobbied for the implementation of the Japanese system on Beyond in the early days of the colony. Plus there's the fact that people here prefer to take a drug for something even if they don't actually need it. That's not really a great way of doing things. All this led to overprescription, a high drug profit margin, and a medical industry that benefits doctors and hospitals instead of patients. Personally, I'm against doing things this way. Okay. We should be working on separating the industry like places on home. Yeah. But as a businesswoman, it's great for us. So, the hospital wouldn't be where it is today without this system. Yeah, that's why there should be public services funded by taxes. That's my belief anyway. Yeah, I get all that, but what about the pharmacist? Okay, yeah, the pharmacist, you mean Jun Ishida. Okay, let's ask about Ishida. What can you tell us about this Ishida? Jun Ishida is an employee of Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals assigned to us here at the hospital. Then why would they need a sales rep from Tokugawa if their pharmacist is a Tokugawa employee? He can be a bit of an odd character, but he gets the job done. Okay, he works for Tokugawa. We have an important relationship with Tokugawa. A number of their employees work here. We could never just shut them out. Okay, pharmacy location. Let's ask about Ishida again. He's a Nisei Beyond. Nisei. Wasn't that the phrase for half English, half Japanese? Or half Japanese, half something else? I think that's the term that they use for it. He hasn't got much of a personality, really. None of them do. I only talk to him when it's work-related. Well, that's kind of cold. Pharmacy's location. Where is the pharmacy? Through that door there. 2 rooms were originally 1. It's a little inconvenient, I know. We split this room up, and that's where we put the pharmacy. Okay. The window's out in the hall, of course. You make sure no one steals anything, huh? I guess you could say that. Right, so the entrance to the pharmacy is through the director's office? That might have an important detail later. We're planning on moving it soon, since it's been a pain having to live like this for so long. Okay. Well, I think that's all the information we need for the serious side of things. Let's get to the inappropriate stuff. Or should I say the Kojima stuff. Ask about her. So how did you first meet Miss Teen Beyond? How did the first Miss Teen Beyond wind up in charge of the colony's biggest hospital? Right, so that answers it. She was a model for Beyond, so that, and Miss Teen. I don't know what age the Miss Teen competition works for, but I would hope it's 18-year-olds? 18, 19-year-olds? So, I quit modelling 20 years ago. My parents were doctors here, but then they were killed in a spaceplane disaster. That's when I inherited this place. I've gone to medical school, and this was the only thing they left me. Always busy, whether it's here or somewhere else. Somewhere else? You married? Straight up question. Nope. Never had much time for relationships with work. I've devoted my life to my career. Guys stopped showing any interest in me a long time ago anyway. I find that very, very hard to believe. Well, considering how they've drawn her. Are you saying you'd be interested? See how far we can go. Before I forget, I don't mind when you say things like that to me, but leave the poor receptionist alone. Oh, I like it when games reference things like that. I think I mentioned it last time. Yeah, when you do something and the game references that you've done something. Okay. You heard about that already? You must have important things. You must have more important things to talk about than me, don't you? Well, depends on Kojima. Her job. Main job is running the hospital, but since my area of expertise is organ transplantation, I help out a little with that as well. For instance, I'm a consultant for the Beyond Coast Organ Distribution Network, so BCODN, the Beyond Coast Organ Procurement Network, and various other transplant groups. Okay. I also volunteer as a psychiatric nurse, working between transplant coordinators, donors, and recipients. I also volunteer. That's the same line. Okay. Organ transplantation. Are organ transplants really that important in space? Yeah, they're absolutely essential to us. Space's environment has massive effects on the human body. What with the weightlessness and cosmic rays. We still aren't ready for transplanting artificial organs. That was one of the theories I came up with earlier, artificial organs. So they still require natural ones. Right, so in order to maintain a supply of organs for transplantation when you can't use artificial ones means you need a constant cycle of people dying. Now, when you've got a population of several billion, that's not too difficult. Apart from, and there's countries that don't allow it. All medical science can do at the moment is transplant them from other people. Okay. Oh, wow. Straight away with the bone marrow transplants. Let's see what other information we can get, because it's clearly a line of investigation that's going to be important later on. Or this is just fluff for the extra game. But yeah, this is fascinating. Okay, what are the dangers of organ transplants? In the past, the biggest problem was post-op rejection, but we've overcome that with the development of Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals' immunosuppressant cypusloidine, as well as masked transplants, which don't trigger rejection. What are masked transplants? It's a revolutionary procedure that's eliminated rejections in recipients. Completely eliminated? With it, we're able to mask the organ's HLA-I class I antigens before transplantation. That could be an I or a 1 actually, before transplantation. Not too familiar with it, but with its introduction, the number of organ transplants has risen dramatically. Right. I'm wondering now whether the increase in organ transplant has actually kind of triggered the increase in use in NARC. That maybe there are side effects to things and the rejection, and they're trying to cover it up. That would make sense, because the pharmaceutical company would probably want to cover up something like that. Oh, theory crafting. The success rates of transplants have gone up, while the side effects of immunosuppressants have gone down. We've made countless advances in procedures, preservation methods, and tissue compatibility tests over the years. Technologically speaking, we've cleared every hurdle. I'm doubtful. Right, let's ask about... I think we've got everything from that. The only real problem would be the shortage of donors. We finally established a consensus for determining brain death after the turn of the century, but a number of issues have allowed a donor shortage to continue. We have the technology, but it's useless without enough donors. Yeah, which is still a real world problem even now. Karen's waiting for a donor herself. Yeah, it's the same thing again, so we've exhausted that one. Right, artificial organs. What about using artificial organs? We're a long way from developing organs that can be used long term. Function as a complete replacement for the failed organ and be small enough to be inserted into the body. Yeah. We do have machine organs and bio-organs, but the only replacements that can currently be classified as complete are artificial bones, teeth, and a type of blood used exclusively for transplanting oxygen. Yeah, you should have seen earlier she did actually cross the legs briefly. I will admit I'm probably going to be going through this live stream frame by frame at this point just to see how much detail they put in with the frames. I may even use that as a thumbnail, but with a nice big sensor bar right in the middle of it. Oh, that's an idea. I should do that. Oh, Kojima, you're a bad influence. Yeah, hello Tom, how are you doing? What you've missed so far, we've gone to the hospital where Hojo was supposedly being a sales rep, and now we're talking to the director of the hospital, who used to be a model. And this is quite a famous image for the game as well. I've seen it all. Every time I search the game, this image comes up. So I think everyone's seen it. And the only real information we got from her was that we need to talk to the pharmacist who the sales rep would have spoken to. Although weirdly, the pharmacist is also an employee of the same company. So that raises my suspicions. At the moment, we're just talking about we're following through all the questions about organ donations. So let's see what we find. What's going on here? Ah, yes. Okay then. Okay. We'll talk about the artificial blood AP users. There are machines that can function as supplementary hearts and kidneys outside the body, but there are problems with internalising them. Yeah, the most advanced artificial kidney I can ever see us developing is continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis. Wow, they really are using a lot of medical terms here. Ask about artificial organs. Are there any organs you could never replace? Well, the brain for one, I would say. I'd say the liver, the pancreas, and the gastrointestinal organs. There are hybrid types and developments that combine organic tissue and synthetic materials, but they're still testing them on animals right now. Oh, still doing animal testing in 2040. But the only place you'll find cyborgs for now are movies and video games and the like. We can't play God at everything, perhaps. That's a nice little nod. Same one again. Okay, right. Radiation, because she mentioned cosmic rays causing damage to tissues. Which organs are affected by cosmic rays? The ones with rapid cell division rates are affected the most. For instance, bone marrow, lymphatic tissue, and mucosal epithelium of the digestive tract. The reproductive organs. That's what's happened to Karen. Yeah. Then come the kidneys, the liver, the lungs, the skin, blood vessels, and the list goes on. The effects on sperm and fetuses are the most pronounced, so they still haven't got proper protection against cosmic rays, which means the birth rate is probably horrendously low. And the births that do happen are... I know about that. You had to avoid conceiving for at least 6 months after returning from space. The time frame's been reduced, but amphibians still have to be careful about that. Amphibians. I remember that there was a mention of some sort about amphibians previously. I can't remember what it was in reference to. Brain death. You mentioned brain death. Brain death is different from persistent vegetative state. In persistent vegetative states, the cerebral cortex stops functioning while the brain stem continues to work normally. Sorry, I've got some things popping up on my phone there. Okay. Some people differentiate between total brain death and brainstem death, but in both cases the brain stem, which basically speaking regulates the body's life support system, stops functioning. There are many criteria involved in determining brain death. Before, these varied from country to country, but now we have a worldwide consensus for declaring a person brain dead. Okay. Donation of organs or tissue from the brain-dead individual is based on the doctrine of informed consent from either the individual, when still mentally competent, or the individual's family or caregiver. Right, so in that case they're working on an opt-in system. There are some countries that work on an opt-out system where everyone is declared a donor unless they actually voluntarily declare themselves not. The countries that use the opt-out system tend to have a much higher rate of donors availability, but it is a bit controversial. Let's ask about brain death again. Donation of organ tissue, yeah, we've seen that one. So, bone marrow transplants, okay. This doesn't have anything to do with our investigation, but how complex a procedure is a bone marrow transplant? In the real world, I believe, as in bone marrow transplants are very intensive. I believe they're actually quite painful for both the donor and the recipient. Very unpleasant experience, I believe. Because I think what they've got to do is they've got to tap the bone, kind of like the way you tap like a keg, and extract it that way. Yeah, I can't remember the full details. It's been a long time since I heard about it, but it's not a fun experience. It might have improved since then, though. But let's see what the game says. Bone marrow transplant. Well, all transplants are complex procedures, but bone marrow transplants in particular. You can't perform the transplant without a donor whose HLA matches the recipient. Everything depends on the matching. Yeah, which kind of leans in with Karen. They've got to find a perfect match, and I have a funny feeling that it's going to be Jonathan. I've said that multiple times. I'll talk about it again. The problem doesn't hinge on the procedure itself as much as finding a donor. We know someone who's waiting for a bone marrow transplant. Do they have any siblings? None. In that case, it won't be easy. You need a donor with matching HLA. You can't do the transplant otherwise. You look impressed, Jonathan, I guess. Okay, so that's everything we can ask. Let's ask about her again. Oh no, we exhausted that, didn't we? So, yes. Let's have a look at her again. Let's start going down the inappropriate stuff. You brace yourself, Tom. No staring, okay. You'll see my wrinkles. Okay, into the really inappropriate bits. What's a nice smell? What is it? It's a lavender perfume. Just hate the smell of drugs. It's the only reason I wear it. You get about as many people wearing fragrances here as you do smoking cigarettes. Hey, there's nothing wrong with either. There's a lot wrong with smoking. I've got potpourri with the same fragrance on the mantelpiece. Go ahead and smell it if you like. That's a way to get him to stop smelling her. I like this smell. I find it relaxing. I believe Main Street in Disneyland have sent sprays on the top of all the lampposts, and during most of the year they spray a subtle lavender smell because of its calming effects, but then during Christmas they spray the spices, things like cinnamon and such, very subtle scent to give the whole area a feeling. I've never been there, I've no intention to, but I love that kind of attention to detail. Let's have a look at some of these pictures, actually, before we get into the really inappropriate stuff. I'm procrastinating here, aren't I? Oh, she has...
それは
他人の子供よ。
君の子供じゃないの？
ジョナサン、よせ。
ああ、悪かった。
Her reaction there. Oh. You seem a little sad for someone your age. I was 19, if I remember right. Oh, Did she have a teenage pregnancy? It's a newborn baby. Don't even remember his name. Ooh, I wonder who that is. That's going to turn out to be somebody. He's a cute little guy. It's Chris and her teen. She's holding a baby. That's going to have importance. That's going to have a lot of importance later on. Oh, I recognise that pixelate or lump of pixels. That's the collection of Policenauts, isn't it? That's the picture that she modelled with them. It's a couple of a teenage magazine from 30 years ago. They've got us and the other Policenauts on the front. Seeing you guys bring back so many memories. Let's see how much information we got here. This magazine had the largest circulation on Beyond at the time. It's called Beyond's Creative. General Interest Magazine. Okay. What's the title? I can't interact with that. So there's Jonathan. This was me before I lost everything. So I believe that's Ed. I was just a kid back then myself. Okay. I think one of these two is the chief. That's Salvatore. He's always joked around when we did pictures. Salvatore, yeah, he's oh, I think he's the guy who was from, was it New York? Oh no, Ed and Jonathan were from New York. He was the other American. So I don't know where he is. We haven't run into him yet. That is the chief then. There's Gates. He was Mr. Popular, and he had grey hair even back then. Let's see if we can actually interact with that. Nope. There is Tokugawa. There's Tokugawa. He never smiles for the camera. No, that always got me suspicious about him so far. In the first stream that I did this, when we saw a picture of him, I actually thought he was a Russian guy, considering the scowl on his face, which is probably really inappropriate on me. But yeah. Is that her arm down there? I remember how cute you were, Chris. Yeah, real cute. I would have been 14 at the time. Oh, so she was. So that was literally 30 years ago. So if she was 14 when that was taken literally 30 years ago, she's 44. Not a bad age. Yeah, okay. And number 10. It's the October issue, so October 2013. Hang on a minute. No, that was more than 30 years ago, because this is still set in 2040. So that was actually that'd be 27 years ago, not 30. I'm spending too much time talking about math. So I think that's all I can get from that picture. So there's that bottle of perfume, I think. Is this what you were talking about? Yeah, that's my potpourri. It smells like lavender. It looks more like a perfume bottle, if I'm honest. I get it sent to me by a friend on home. Go ahead and smell it. Yeah, it does smell like lavender. It's just like Chris's perfume. As I say, it looks like a perfume bottle. There's that animation again. It took her a while. I thought for a moment it was triggered by the mouse moving, but that would be too easy to abuse. That's either a letter or a certificate. What are these papers? I've got things like my medical license and the hospital's accreditation up there. There are documents hanging all over the walls. The place really feels like a director's office. Well, it literally is the director's office. I also have a few awards I received for my organ work. Okay, so all of these. Books on organ transplantation. There's so much mention of organ transplantation that's got to tie into the story somehow. Like I was saying, that's my area of expertise. Okay. Right. I want to know about these that she's holding.
そ
Oh,
の手に持っているものは
マスキートよ。
マスキート？
ええ、化型の採血マイクロマシーンよ。このマスキート、プログラムがいかれちゃって制御できないの。ようやくさっき回収したのよ。
what was I saying about the mosquitoes that deliver medicine? It's there's foreshadowing here is quite something. I can tell you more about it if you're interested. This is a type of medical micro machine is used on the colony for drawing blood. Okay, so there's two. One for drawing blood and one for delivering, although it could literally be the same thing. It's just the syringe would go the opposite direction. Tell you more about it if you're interested. Okay, so I need to actually... just as charming as the photo on this shot. Okay, right, so talk. Yep. Ask about the mosquitoes, which I think that is a spelling done based on the katakana version of mosquitoes. Then again, mosquitoes might be explained in the game as a product name. Okay. Oh, literally, they've got mosquito written correctly there, so that must be a product name then. Okay, right, it's a mosquito-type robot developed by Tokugawa Heavy Industries and Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals. It's designed for drawing blood from people and animals and administering shots. Okay, so it is the same one. With this, you can draw blood without the subject feeling a thing, which means you could do it surreptitiously without them knowing. It can also be used for donating blood. I wouldn't have thought you'd get much from a mosquito. They've received a lot of criticism, but these guys are one of the reasons we've been able to prevent AIDS and other diseases. They fly by flapping their wings. They were designed through biomechanics. I don't know the details. We saw a hologram of it at Tokugawa Pharmaceuticals.
ジョナサン、壁に止まったわ。そっと捕まえて、外に出すと大変だわ。
どうやって？カーソルでクリックするんだ。慎重にな。くそ、逃げられた。
私の鼻に。
Why is she so afraid of it?
じっとしてるんだ。動かないように。
早くして。
Oh,
また逃げられた。
that is not easy.
ダメ。早く捕まえて。
美味しいところに泊まりやがった。
Oh, you
ジョナサン、
Kojima, you
俺
dirty
に任
bastard.
せろ。
断る。俺が頼まれたんだ。
こいつ、また逃げられるのがオチだ。
二人とも。
Yeah, stop wasting time.
申し訳ない。
くそ、また逃げられた。
下手くそ。
刺されたわ。やだ。こんなところに。
It literally moved the moment I put the mouse over it.
胸だ。
5章だから、ジョナサン。
俺の役目だ。
俺は人生を恨むよ。
Missed.
くそ、また逃げられた。
ジョナサン、真面目にやれ。
お願い。早く捕まえて。
くそ、また逃げられた。
Yeah, the speed of the mouse movement is really not making this easy.
お願い。早く捕まえて。
くそ、また逃げられた。
ジョナサン、真面目にやれ。
お願い。早く
Okay, this is getting annoying.
ジョナサン、真面目にやれ。
お願い、早く捕まえて。
くそー、また逃げられた。
ジョナサン、真面目にやれ。
Yeah, this is the point where we're supposed to have done it
お
by
願い、
now.
早く捕まえて。
くそー、また逃げられた。
ジョナサン、真面目にやれ。
お願い、早く捕まえて。
くそー、また逃げられた。
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a directional pad. It's really difficult. It's not like a mouse pointer.
お願い。
It'd be easier if I was using a mouse.
やった、触った触った。
ありがとう、ジョナサン。
いや、こんなことならいつでも。
ジョナサン、お前な、
I'm with Ed.
後で感想を聞かせろよ。
本当に
Maybe
お
I'm
か
not.
しな人たちね、ポリスノーツさん。まるでバディ映画から抜け出たみたい。
This is like a buddy cop.
大事に至らなくてよかった。
そうね。さあ、これからどうするお二人さん。
Right, I could imagine if the game did have or had an official English translation, that would have been removed. And I think the whole thing about being pervy with all the women would have been taken out, because what little was in Snatcher did get censored. It's actually quite surprising how much censoring there was in the game, considering how tame it was compared to this. Let's talk again, because I don't think we finished talking about... Oh no, you can't ask her about the... Yeah, can't ask her about the mosquitoes now. Okay. Right, well I think this has got about as inappropriate as we want it to get. As she does that, gonna have to... You know, if you told me you're still a model, I'd believe you. I don't think I've ever seen anyone look this good in a lab coat before. Considering what content there is out there in the world. Oh, Ed, you've been taking notes from Jonathan. Right, okay. I've just noticed the time, and I think it's about time for me to have a break. Actually, I'm just going to do a quick save, just in case. So, overwrite, saving, done. Yeah, I don't know why it stops playing the music there. But, yeah, after that, a bit of hilarity, let's go and have a short break. Just going to set up my holding screen. So for anyone watching on the YouTube VOD, this will be the end of the first half of the stream. So the second half is going to be coming out on the Tuesday following this one. For everyone who is on Twitch live right now, I'm just going to go away for probably about 10 minutes, just to have a quick break. And then we're going to go back to this ridiculously inappropriate game. But yeah, there are links below for you to have a look at while I'm away, and yes, I shall be back very soon, so don't go anywhere.